Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aries is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 9 of Wands, strength, right? Resilience. I feel like you're the kind of person that, like, you've gone through things that would have crushed other people. You know, you have this sense of strength and resilience to you that I think, other people would have quit a long time ago. You tend to be the person that commits to something and just doesn't give up. Now, of course, you've probably quit things before. Right? You've had moments where your strength kind of didn't show up for you, or times in your life where you didn't feel all that resilient, But I feel like when you're really truly aligned and you believe in what you're doing, nothing is going to stop you. You're that kind of person, right? I feel like you're someone who makes a commitment, makes a promise to themselves, and kind of keeps going no matter what, okay? You've endured storms that would have swept other people away completely. Okay, this is backbone. This is real inner strength, fortitude, right? Your ability to endure, your ability to persevere. I feel like that's the kind of person you are, and I feel like that's what Spirit is trying to highlight for you right now. Let's put this card into a little bit of context, and let's see what is going on in your life. Aries, we have a 6 of Cups. Very, very nice, okay? That is kind of the reward. You persevere through the storms, you get to the beautiful day, okay? 7 of Wands, confirming that perseverance. We have a 2 of Pentacles. We have an Ace of Swords. See, that is the divine guidance. When you really believe in something, you have this sort of clarity. Your will is unshakable. And we see the Eon card, the doorway to a new future. This is the breakthrough that you've been waiting for, okay? On the path of the Serpent, more fire, 3 of Wands, the Sun in Aries. This is a very special card for you. We have a 4 of Cups. A little bit of healing, a little bit of safe harbor here with some of your relationships. I think that's wonderful. I think you need a little bit of that, okay? You need to feel safe. You need to feel like you have an emotional stability in your relationships with people. Princess of Swords, and finally a 9 of Pentacles. Wow, is all I have to say. Starting with the 9 of Wands, ending with the 9 of Pentacles, fire and earth. The spiritual electrical circuit of creation. Heaven to earth, above to below, inside to outside. Will to action, impulse to behavior. Intention, inspiration, idea to implementation, materialization, and manifestation. Fire and earth, that's the spiritual electrical circuit of creation. And this has to go through your human heart and mind in order to connect, right? You're the magician. You're the one that conducts the fire to the earth. In that circuit, you're the one that completes the circuit of creation. Okay? This is outstanding that you have both of these cards. Big signal from Spirit here that this is your time. Okay? Major upgrades taking place in your life now. I feel that you have kind of a tenacity about you. I think like your discipline, right, is really like leading you places, okay? Like your discipline has turned your strength and your resilience into like a strength that's like repeatable, okay? So I feel like your discipline is a really big factor for you in your life right now. And that's kind of like keeping yourself to your promise. You make a promise to yourself, the discipline to show up every day. You're suiting up, you're showing up, and that's you, and your strength is kind of unstoppable here. Yeah. Okay, let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set this down right over here with Alien Simon Mork Ripley right there on top. Now, we're not going to, take you to our leader until the very end, but it will tie everything together, and that card will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. Yeah. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comment section down below. I want you to claim this reading right now. You are a magic maker. Claim your role as a magic maker. Ring the bell, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. You got the fire and the earth. You got the discipline to see it through. Okay? I feel like the small actions that you once doubted are now really adding up. Okay? Clearly adding up to a lot of progress. Okay? I think that you get into this this flow state of harmony with the Six of Cups when you kind of stop forcing and you start trusting a little bit. Because you have this clarity, you have this connection to the divine. Okay? With the Four of Cups over here, I feel that the heartbreaks that you've been through in life, like the emotional situations that you've had to endure and kind of survive, even though I don't know how I feel about using the word survive, but I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. But you've kind of you've learned about compassion. You've learned how to be strong in your relationships because you've been through it. Because you've had to endure hardship and emotional storms, it's taught you how to be compassionate and even empathic toward others. I think that's a really big part. You show up for your people. You really, really do. And I think that is outstanding. And I think that your people show up for you. You create very strong relationships, okay, because of your compassion and because of your strength, okay? I think you're a very resourceful person. I think that in the past, maybe there's been some scarcity. Okay, you haven't always had more than you need. You haven't always maybe even had enough of certain things, okay? But I think that it's kind of that scarcity has allowed you to kind of sharpen your resourcefulness, yeah? And to really have to be creative. Yeah, we got your Three of Wands. Down here, this is a virtue. And I think your creativity is a virtue. Your presence is a virtue. The sun in Aries, feeling as if you know who you are and you know why you're here. And you're standing here in this moment with a sense of presence. Like you're present in the moment kind of thing. You're not thinking about the past or the future. You're here. And that's kind of a grounding, right? I think you're very grounded in the moment. And this presence allows you to sort of be present in your relationships, in your work, in your creativity, and whatever it is that you're doing right now. And I think you're going to perceive this doorway opening, this opportunity to really make some big time progress. I see things ramping up very quickly for you. And this central resilience and strength, okay, I think is finally now opening up a doorway to a lot more flow, a lot more ease, love, compassion, community. There's a lot of pleasure in the Six of Cups, And I feel like this is going to really kind of illustrate the next few months of your life are going to feel more connected. There's going to be more ease, more flow. Okay? This is really, this is love. This is value. Okay? I think that you're moving into a period of, I almost want to say tranquility. There's going to be less resistance. Okay? There's going to be you're still going to have to work hard, obviously, right? But there's going to be more flow. More doorways will be open to you. This is that card of love and compassion, tranquility, community. Okay? Valuing and feeling valued. I want you to claim this right now. Yeah, I really do. The Six of Cups with our Nine of Wands, right? This is the strength that you have and that you've shown throughout your life. No matter what the storm was, you were able to get to calmer waters. And I think there's that confidence in you that knows that this too shall pass, right? That any storm that you endure, you're going to be okay. Confidence, right? It's not going into a situation and feeling like it's all going to go my way. No. Confidence in saying, no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. No matter what the storm is that I'm facing, I'll get through to the other side. Because what is the 6 but pleasure after, like, disappointment? Right? It comes after the 5 of Cups, and the 5 of Cups is the stormy waters. It's the turbulence, right? So things are really, you're getting through that turbulence and you're getting to the calm waters. Because of your tenacity and strength and resilience, your confidence, not the confidence that says there will be no storms and I will, dominate and I will win everything. No, confidence is knowing that there's probably going to be a storm, and doing it anyway. And believing that even when the storm hits, we're strong enough to see ourselves through. Okay? And a big gratitude for everybody that's here watching this reading right now. Give me a shout out in the comments. Let me know you're here. Okay? Share this video with somebody that could use a little bit of reward for all of their hard work and all of that perseverance. Okay? I feel like it really is paying off now. This is the celebration. This is the community. This is you finding your tribe. This is a lot of good days. This is a lot of smooth sailing. That's here for you. Okay? Tell me in the comments that you're ready for the smooth sailing. I know I am. Anyway, underneath the surface, we have this idea of discipline. Okay, and this to me is this is like a David and Goliath kind of energy. This is really a survivor kind of energy, right? It says no matter what the odds, you keep fighting. This is valor. In the face of overwhelming odds, you persevere, right? It sounds like a movie kind of trailer or something, right? I should do those movie voices. Maybe one day I'll do some voiceover work, but up till now I never have. I've always wanted to, though. When I was a kid, people used to tell me that I should do radio. And I thought they just meant that I'm not really good to look at. But now I realize that maybe they were trying to compliment me. But I still don't know. This is the perseverance. Even when the odds are against you, even when things weren't going your way, you pushed through. And this is discipline. And this discipline creates this kind of survivor instinct, into like daily and repeatable strength. So it's that discipline kind of every day that shows up for you, through you, right? Through that strength that you have. This is sometimes like it feels like we're banging our head against a wall sometimes. Okay? But to me, it's, this is a wall that, eventually is going to give way. It's not really a wall. It's not like you're banging your head against a brick wall. It's like you're pounding your fists on a door. And that door's going to open. You just got to keep working at it. Right? So it's that daily discipline. It is like, it is the tenacity, the valor to show up even when other people around you have gone home. This is that person. You ever see those, like those contests where like people have to put their hand on a car, right? And it's like whoever can leave their hand there the longest will win the car. I see those. It's usually a car I don't want anyway, but people are doing that. They're like, as long as you're touching the car, you're okay. The last person left kind of touching the car wins. You're the kind of person that will stay there with their hand on the car. Not going to move, not going to do it. No matter how bad you feel, no matter how many cramps you have, you're going to do it. The gorilla can have you by the short hairs, and you're still there, persevering. That's discipline, right? And confidence is knowing that it's going to suck, right? But doing it anyway. And knowing that you're going to be okay. And even if those contests where you didn't win the car, that's okay too, right? But you're showing up, you're continuing to do it. I feel like you're the kind of person that can survive what would destroy most people. Okay? And I feel like you have a lot of discipline in you it's not always there. Sometimes you want to sleep in. Sometimes you want to rest. Sometimes it's just saying, you know what? I don't feel like doing it today. And that's all right. We all have those days. Today was a day like that for me. I didn't want to get up and come do, my work and film the readings. But of course, once I get here, I feel good. And I think that's kind of you do too, you know. I think sometimes it's hard to get started, but once you get there and you start doing it, it feels good. And you're glad that you didn't just stay in bed watching Silo on Apple TV. I started watching that show. Anyway, it's a good show. I love the shows. You know, I'm not like an Apple like super fan or anything. They're not a sponsor of the channel or anything like that. But I do love the shows that they have been making. Really some good stuff there. Let me know in the comments. Generally, what are some of the good shows you're watching on TV right now? If you watch TV, if you have time in between all of your hard work and your discipline to watch a little bit of the boob tube, what do you watch? Let me know. I'm especially into like sci-fi and stuff right now. It's really my thing. But this, you know, this is that discipline that has turned now into kind of daily, repeatable strength. And that leads us back here to our Two of Pentacles. The small actions, the individual changes, the little things that you can do on a daily basis. That's commitment. That you don't have to wait for just that one. You don't just sit around waiting for that one big, huge opportunity, that one big sale. It's like the salesperson that they don't sell anything. They're waiting to like make that like all I have to do is sell one airplane or something, right? And then I'm set for life. And so they're waiting around their entire life for that one airplane that they can sell. Well, that's not what this is. This is a lot of steps, a lot of little sales. Keep doing it day after day, grinding away. The gears are turning. The gears are turning and it's generating something else. Well, what you're generating is progress, success, and I think a lot of flow state kind of energy here. These are all the little things that I think you once kind of doubted yourself a little bit. You kind of said, well, I'm doing these little steps every day, but maybe they're not going to do anything. It's easy to feel that way when we're taking the small steps, when we're doing just the incremental things. We think, what good's that going to do? You make one sale, and big deal. What is that? That's not going to do anything for me. But it compounds. It starts to grow exponentially, right? And so I think that there was a time where you kind of doubted that the little things you were doing, kind of pushing the football down the field yard by yard, that you kind of doubted it was actually doing anything. Because what is that but slow, steady change over the course of time? It's like, what's the point of going to the gym and lifting a couple of heavy weights for an hour? It doesn't do anything. The next day you still look the same, right? So then what, are you waiting for that one day at the gym where you can just go and lift really, really heavy and the next day your muscles are huge? It doesn't work that way, right? And so it's the same kind of mentality where it's just like, even if I can't visibly see the progress, I can't doubt that it's working. I have to keep doing it. And so it may be that, you know, you're making this sale, $5 here, $5 there. I don't know what you're selling that's $5, but you know, you're putting $5 in the bank or something like this, or you're doing those little exercises every day, or just those little efforts. Maybe it's art, maybe it's at school, at home, at work, I don't know. Trusting that those small steps are making a difference. Yeah. And I think that kind of leads us into our Ace of Swords at the top here, because this is trust. This is you stepping into a flow state. Flow comes, ease and tranquility come for you when you stop trying to force anything and you just start trusting that the things you're doing, the discipline that you're showing, the strength that you have, all of these cards are excellent cards leading to your breakthrough, to your leveling up, okay, to your breaking through the ceiling, but also leading to this flow state. That flow state is kind of like where your effort and the right conditions, right? Everything comes together and makes things feel easy. It's a flow state. You know, I'm sure you are familiar with the flow state. The author of that book, I can't pronounce the name, and I don't want to butcher the name, but there's the guy that wrote the book on flow. Anyway, check it out if you haven't yet. I think it might be in my video description. I've been trying to update my reading list in the video description. I'm trying to kind of, you know, cycle in some of the newer books that I've been reading and, you know, rotate things a little bit so it stays fresh in there for you. But the flow state to me feels like when you're at the right time in the right place, doing the right thing with the right attitude, and everything seems like it's coming together and it's in this perfect alignment. and you're just able to keep going, and you're churning out the productivity. It's like you sit down, you got your mise en place, you got all your stuff there in the kitchen ready for you. You got the right music on, you're in the right mind state, and you just start cooking, and you're just whipping up a masterpiece, a Michelin star dish. You're in that flow state. Or you're doing something else. Maybe you're at work, maybe it's sales, maybe it is, maybe it's like painting or dancing or music. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's studying. Okay, maybe it's like crunching the numbers for your business or something like this. Okay, doing the work that you do at the office, something like that. But getting into that flow state where everything is just, it feels there's an ease to it. Okay, that's kind of our Six of Cups here. And I think that this trust is really like, this is what inspires the flow state. Okay, this is input from the divine, from the cosmic consciousness, from the universe itself. These cosmic rays are coming in through the top of the card. This is literally an antenna on the top of your head, or wherever it is. Maybe it's in your pineal gland, third eye. This is those cosmic frequencies coming in and inspiring you, giving you that certainty. Okay, scattering away all doubt and confusion, and there's clarity. Okay, there is clarity. And this is kind of like, this is inducing that flow state. You're tuning into that frequency, and you're trusting in the universe. And I think that you didn't always trust. Okay? Big shout out to everybody who journals during and after these readings. I think that's very important for you. The pen is mightier than the sword, right? And this is that pen. And this is kind of like letting it flow through. It's kind of an automatic writing kind of vibe here. Okay? And I think that trusting in that flow, trusting in that universe, trusting in that frequency that's coming in to the best of your ability, to not doubt, not question it, not hesitate, to show up and do the hard work, and trusting that what you're doing matters and that it's leading you somewhere. To me, that feels like it feels like a magical moment. The Six of Cups feels like a moment. Maybe it's an hour long, maybe it's for the whole day, maybe it's going to be for like a month. Feels like you're in that magic moment flow state where you're kind of weightless. You're just kind of weightless. The roller coaster is kind of chugged up the hill, right? And it's crested on the top, right? It's not going backwards, it's not going forward. It's like that weightless feeling. That's the six. Right before things start to really take off and sort of we wind down. And then we kind of are back to gravity, back to normal gravity. This is that moment of weightlessness that we're inducing here, okay? With the six, I also feel like this is like the family, the workplace kind of flow that you're in, this kind of community energy. I think that like at some point in your life, there was a lot of resistance in your life. Maybe resistance from people at the workplace, people at home, and that kind of trained your endurance a little bit. Okay, I think that really, the resistance there kind of like, it required that you step up, and you did, and you are stepping up, and I feel like this is amazing. The breakthrough here in the future position with this Eon card, this is judgment, this is a rebirth, reawakening, a baptism by fire, it's a divine doorway. Is basically saying that on the other side of this door is a brand new universe of wild possibilities. It's kind of like saying by going through this doorway, you're claiming your power to create whatever world you want to live in. This is the breakthrough that you've been waiting for is a major upgrade energy here. Let's do a Divine Doorway Oracle card. A Stranger's Grace. Ego fears the sudden danger, but never underestimate the kindness of a loving stranger. Interesting. I wonder if that is perhaps very literally, telling you that there is kind of an unfamiliar doorway that's appearing in front of you. So it may be an opportunity that you didn't really, you're waiting for a breakthrough, but I think it's coming through a doorway that you weren't really familiar with. It kind of feels like that ego fear a little bit, which then would kind of be a little bit of that doubt that we sometimes get. Going through this doorway is going to mean that you face your fears, okay? That you subdue the ego fears, okay? And go through this doorway, because I feel like whatever this opportunity is, the medium through which this breakthrough shows up in your life is going to feel unfamiliar. And the unfamiliar is always kind of scary to the ego. You've got to make the decision to go through this doorway anyway. It's a doorway of fire. The ego doesn't always want to do that because it feels like, well, it's going to hurt, right? It's going to burn. So, never underestimate the kindness of a loving stranger. I kind of feel like it is literally like there's some person that's going to kind of open up this doorway for you, and it's going to feel a little weird because it's kind of unfamiliar, or it's not the pathway that you expected, but it's the breakthrough that you've been waiting for, you see? Now, subscribe to the channel. We're going to talk about the path of the serpent. This is your presence, like I said, okay? This is you kind of keeping yourself grounded in the moment, not obsessed with the past, not worried about the future, but here, now, right now, fully awake, fully present, sun in Aries, okay? This is a very special card for you, even if you're watching for your moon sign or your rising sign or anything like this. The full illumination now of your being, this is like self-remembering. This is you feeling as if, I'm not wearing my charm today, I just realized. Usually wear my Tibetan prayer wheel, but now I don't have it, so I'm looking for it, I guess, unconsciously. Remembering yourself, and maybe that's a gesture that means something to you. The kind of like looking for something that that you hold on to. Like, I know sometimes it's our phone, that we sometimes we grab onto our phone to kind of come back to ourselves and remember ourselves. I know it sounds odd, but it could be your keys. Sometimes I'll put my hand in my pocket and I'll just grab onto my keys because that kind of makes me feel something, and I think it's a textural thing. Okay, so I'm sure there's something in your life that you tend to grab and hold on to and just kind of hold, because it activates those nerve endings and it gives you that sense of presence in your body. Okay, I think body awareness is something that's very important to you and very meaningful, and it will be very powerful in your life right now. Body awareness, okay? The Three of Wands is somebody that knows who they are, knows why they're here. And I think this is that sense of presence, keeps you steady, keeps you grounded in the moment. Okay. The Four of Cups that we see in the environment, this is kind of, again, telling me that there has been some resistance in your relationships. Okay, the workplace, family resistance that sort of trained your endurance, that's one thing, but I also feel like generally you're a very compassionate person, and that's because, you know what, I feel like you've had your heart broken before. And I feel that instead of making you a bitter and cynical person, I feel like it made you more compassionate, because you know what it feels like to be heartbroken. You know what it feels like to want to cry, you know what it feels like to be hurt and to be in the emotional storm, the physical storm, the mental storms. So it really is giving you sort of a foundation of compassion for people and for yourself too. I feel like this is just as much about self-compassion and empathy for self as it is for other people. And I think that you've become a bit of a safe harbor. To me, the Four of Cups is like kind of a storm shelter, right? I feel like you've become a storm shelter for other people in a way. That people, when they're having a bad day, they know they can come to you. And I feel like you understand that. You're saying, I know. I don't have to even, it's not like you're going to talk at them and lecture them, well, this is what you should do. No, I feel like just with your presence, people know that you understand what they've been through. I think when you're at work, people will just come into your office and they'll just sit in a chair next to you. Or when you're standing somewhere, people will just come and they just want to stand next to you and just say, hi. They just want to be in your presence because they feel some kind of a safety with you. Like they feel like you're an emotionally safe person. And that really, and I thank you for that, because sometimes we all need that. Sometimes we all need the big hug, We all need to feel like we're part of some kind of a family where people care about us. Whether that's at work, at home, at school, blood family, chosen family, friends, We all want to feel that way. And, it's kind of like, I think that's one reason why I think a lot of us like animals a lot. I love animals. I love, like, pets, basically, right? Wild animals I love too, but you can't really cuddle them, can you? Or you shouldn't anyway. At least not some of the squirrels we see around here. But, I've always been someone who would want to rescue like a cat, like to foster a cat, because to see, a kitten that has been abandoned or is in I'm just going to start to cry, or that's in like an animal rescue, like shelter, breaks my heart, and I want that animal to feel love. I want that person to feel love. That's why, and it's a compassion and an empathy that I think you have also. And I think it's very important that you express that and that you utilize that gift, because that's one of your strengths. Okay? But make sure that you also keep yourself fortified. Okay? You don't need to take on the emotional burdens of everybody else, but you can be there as kind of a safe emotional place for other people. Okay? Anyway, I think your relationships are very strong because you have that kind of compassion. Yeah. Your Princess of Swords, this is in the fear, worry, concern. There's always going to be fear, worry, and concern. There's always going to be a little bit of doubt, even when we tap into that flow state and we feel like we are divinely inspired. And we see with the Ace of Swords, it's the tip of the sword has gone outside of the realm of the mind, the yellow part there. You're now receiving the cosmic rays, okay, which tells me that there are these periods, these moments of clarity and flow state and certainty and truth and trust, But you're still human, I think, right? So sometimes you'll doubt. Sometimes you won't be so sure. Sometimes you'll be trying to put something together and you'll just stop and think, I don't know what I'm doing. When you're in the flow state and you're just putting wires together and you're just like, you got your music on or whatever, and you're just doing it. And then you just have a moment of self-consciousness where it's just like, oh, wait a minute, I don't know what the next thing is. And you're cooking and you're just in the zone. Once you start thinking about what you're doing, you kind of, it's the Wile E. Coyote, right? Once Wile E. Coyote realizes that there's no ground beneath them, that's when they fall, okay? If you just keep running, if you just stay in the flow state, you wouldn't fall. And so it's like that when you're doing cooking or music or any kind of work or anything like that. You're in the flow state. As soon as we become too conscious or self-conscious or whatever it is, that's when we fumble a little bit and we stop and we just say, okay, now I'm out of the flow state, I guess. So maybe it's time to go take a break, But I feel that you're also somebody that you're good at learning. You love to learn. And I think that's awesome, because having that student mindset gives you such power, because you're giving yourself permission to not know the answers. You're giving yourself permission to fail, to get it wrong sometimes, because when you're a student, well, yeah, obviously, I'm not going to have the right answer every time because I'm a student. As a student, I'm expected to not get 100% on every test. And if you are getting 100% on every test, it means you're not learning anything. You're not being challenged. It's like you already know that information. You need to push yourself. That's why, like in school, right, you probably got bumped up a grade, right? Or something like that, because some things in school were too easy for you. And so they started giving you harder stuff. Yeah. Whether you were, you moved up a grade or just given some kind of extra, like, coursework or something that more challenging, I feel like you were above like the average level of stuff. Anyway, the next card there is the Nine of Pentacles. Now, I do think that you are a very resourceful person, very creative, and I think that back in your history there were moments of scarcity. Okay, there were moments, whether when you were a child or a young adult, or maybe even more recently, where you didn't know that there would be enough of something, right? So it forced you to become very resourceful, very smart, and get real creative. Like, I feel like you're someone that can make $1 out of 15 cents, okay? And, the Nine of Pentacles is gain. Nine of Pentacles is all of this work really paying off. All those little steps that you've been taking are now pushing that football yard by yard down the field toward the end zone. And every step you take, life gets better and better and better. You're starting to realize that every dollar you put in a savings account is building upon the last dollar. And it's compounding. This is like compound growth. This is your trajectory going up and to the right. Okay? My right. I guess it would be this way for you, right? Up and to the right. This is the card of you walking the path and really putting some distance behind you. This is someone who is living a successful life. And I think that breakthrough that you're waiting for is just about to hit, where things pick up a lot faster. Things are really going to be more tranquil, more flow state, where you're going to make a lot of progress very, very quickly. And you're going to be able to look back and be like, wow, traveled a long distance. It's almost like we're entering a period of warp speed. It feels like, it feels like nothing. It feels easy. But from the outside, you're traveling like very close to the speed of light. Like that's insane, right? But inside the ship, I'm kind of thinking like Star Trek here, Next Generation type stuff. It doesn't feel like much. There's maybe a little bit of a bump like this, but it's not that crazy, right? So there's that aspect to things for you. And I think that it's going to lead to a lot of increase, okay? We're talking gains, profit, abundance on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual creative planes. Okay? Growth and expansion and abundance in every dimension of your life. Relationships, right? Money, your physical health, your spiritual practice, your personal growth, all of this stuff. Okay? You're a magic maker. Claim it. Hit the like button. Claim this reading. Let's look at our mystery card. Thank you, Alien. We will now take you to our leader. What do we think it's going to be? Well, I think it might be a breakthrough type of card. It might be another judgment card. It might be a tower card. Could be the death card. Slow and steady, because what do you think breakthroughs are made of? What do you think overnight changes are made of? Slow and steady progress leading up to this magical moment of breakthrough. Nothing happens overnight. The change may feel like it's overnight change. Like today, my life is it's completely different than it was yesterday. But it took years to build up to this moment, right? So I'm kind of thinking tower. Let's see what we have. Nope. 10 of Pentacles. Just showing you the aftermath, showing you the beauty of this path. You got your pets, your plants, your people. You got your wealth, right? What does wealth mean to you? What is the glorious future that you're trying to build really look like? Because that's what you're, on the other side of this doorway, you're being given all the tools, all the resources, all the opportunities you need to create this. This is your paradise. This is your best life. Look at that. You've got your pets, your plants, your people. And you're in there somewhere too. Okay. So this opportunity is allowing you to really construct your vision, really manifest your best life. And I think as you're traveling this road and you're making all this progress, you better know what you're trying to build. Also, these two cards together remind us that your goals in life are not finite. There's no salary cap here, okay? So the closer you get to your best life, you just sort of push it out a little bit so you have more road to travel. Once you get to the edge of the universe, you just push it out a little bit so you have more room to walk, more room to build. Once you've already built your estate, you just kind of like, you buy the next plot of land over and you keep building, right? So it's expansive, it's infinite, it's open-ended. The 10 of Pentacles is not a limit. There's no ceiling there. There's a ceiling that you can break through, and then that ceiling becomes the floor, if you want it to, and then you just climb up again. If you want to break through again, you break through again. The 10 is the 100 of Pentacles, the 1,000 of Pentacles. It's just because we're base 10, as a culture. We count 8, 9, 10, and an infinite number. Like I tell my daughter, if you can count to 10, you can count to infinity if you wanted to. And, some cultures are like base 3, it's 1, 2, 3, and then a whole bunch. Or base 12, right? 10, 11, 12, and then an infinite number. So this is to remind you that you set your goals, you set your limits. However high you want to climb, when you say, that's enough, I'm content, that's it for you then. Until the day you say, you know what, I'm hungry again, let's keep climbing. There's just more. Every time you climb up, you feel like you get to a summit. You can stay there and say, that's my best life now, I just want to enjoy it. Or you could look up and say, let's climb to the next summit. It's just summits all the way all the way up. It's like it's turtles all the way down. It's summits of the mountain all the way up. Okay. There's no end to how far you can go or how high you can climb right now. And I think that is an extraordinary message from Spirit right now. We're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, we'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down in the video description over here. New readings for Aries Wednesdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.